Today, I'm focusing on the signals that help entrepreneurs distinguish real progress from activity that simply feels productive. A business can generate attention, complete tasks, and make plans, yet still lack a model that works. Meaningful progress means building evidence that your assumptions are becoming reality. We'll look at how to recognize those signals, evaluate what they're telling us, and determine when a business plan is moving beyond an idea and beginning to deliver sustainable results. A success signal is evidence that the business is progressing in a meaningful way. It might show up in customer behavior, financial health, or validation from the market. The key distinction is meaning, not visibility. Vanity metrics can look impressive without telling us whether the business is becoming stronger. By contrast, a true success signal reflects real traction and helps us make better decisions. And growth does not always arrive dramatically. Often, the earliest and most valuable indicators are quiet patterns that appear before the larger results become obvious. The first paying customer is a major milestone because it turns an idea into evidence. When someone who has no personal connection to you chooses to spend money, it shows that your product or service is solving a problem they consider important enough to pay for. This is the clearest early signal that your value proposition resonates beyond friends and family. It does not prove everything is solved, but confirms there is real market interest and gives you a foundation for learning, improving, and growing. Signal number 2 is customer retention and repeat purchases. Acquiring a customer is difficult, but keeping that customer is a stronger signal of lasting value. When people return to buy again, it suggests the product is meeting a real need and building enough trust to support product-market fit. To evaluate this, track retention by customer cohort month over month, monitor Net Promoter Score for signs of customer advocacy, and watch churn closely. Repeat behavior is the evidence that value is continuing beyond the first transaction. Signal number 3 is revenue trends. Revenue is often the clearest financial signal because it shows not only how much the business is earning, but whether that performance is moving in the right direction. Consistent month-over-month growth is the key indicator to watch. Early traction may begin with the first dollar in revenue and early signs of product-market fit. From there, steady growth becomes more meaningful, especially when revenue increases without a matching rise in costs. That combination suggests the business model is becoming scalable and increasingly viable. Signal number 4 is word of mouth and organic referrals. When customers recommend a product without being prompted, it suggests the product is solving a meaningful problem, one they feel compelled to share with others. Referrals also lower customer acquisition cost, or CAC, because growth is coming from customer advocacy rather than paid outreach. Just as importantly, word of mouth builds brand trust. Especially in the early stages, that credibility can be far more powerful than advertising because it comes from genuine customer experience rather than a company's own claims. Signal number 5 is when unit economics turn positive. In practical terms, this means the value a customer generates over their lifetime, or LTV, is greater than the cost of acquiring that customer, known as CAC. A healthy LTV to CAC ratio of 3-to-1 or higher is the key benchmark here. It suggests the business is not merely generating activity or attracting customers, but has the potential to grow sustainably and profitably. That distinction matters because scalable growth depends on creating more customer value than it costs to generate. Signal number 6 is investor and partner interest. When credible outside parties want to commit their own resources, the market is providing meaningful validation. That interest can appear in several ways: inbound inquiries from investors, partnership proposals, press or media coverage, and nominations for industry awards. None of these signals guarantee success, but together they show that people beyond the founding team recognize potential and want to participate. The key is to distinguish genuine, strategic interest from casual attention, and to look for consistent demand across multiple sources. Operational efficiency is a strong signal that the business is becoming more scalable. Faster delivery means your team is learning, refining processes, and serving each unit or customer in less time. Process automation is another important indicator because replacing manual work with systems allows growth without requiring headcount to increase at the same rate. Finally, watch unit costs. As volume grows, the cost of producing or serving each unit should decline. Together, these improvements show that economies of scale are beginning to take hold. A key discipline in business planning is learning to separate vanity metrics from true success signals. Vanity metrics may look impressive, but they do not necessarily show whether the business is healthy or moving forward. Examples might include numbers that attract attention without revealing customer value, sustainable growth, or financial strength. True success signals help us understand what is actually happening beneath the surface. The goal is not to ignore metrics, but to ask better questions about which measurements reflect meaningful progress and support sound business decisions. The key takeaways are simple but powerful. Signals are measurable through customer behavior, revenue trends, or cost efficiency. Early proof points, like first customers, referrals, and retention, should guide each iteration. Finally, track your top 5 signals consistently, because what gets measured gets managed and eventually mastered.